Creating a budget is not a punishment. It's an opportunity to make your money work better for you. Hi, and welcome to Headspace. I'm Tonya Rapley. I'm a financial education expert and entrepreneur. I help millennials break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck so that they can become financially free and do more of what they love. One of the biggest causes of financial stress is uncertainty. Budgeting is one of the best things you can do to eliminate some of that because by creating a plan, you can give yourself a clearer understanding of what's happening with your money. Today, I'm going to walk you through the basics of budgeting and hopefully give you some tools to help you get a better handle on your money, no matter where you are in your financial journey. There's a strange misconception that being an adult means knowing how to budget correctly. But when you think about it, we don't teach budgeting in schools, and hardly anyone instinctively knows how to manage their money on the first day of being financially independent. In fact, when most of us imagine someone sitting down to write a budget, it's because we think they've done something wrong and they need to bring their spending under control. Instead, try to reframe budgeting as something we should all do to be proactive, no matter what your financial situation is. I first started budgeting when I was deep in debt and financially tapped. Once I was back on my feet, I revisited my budget as I entered a new phase of my career. And then again when I got married, and again when I had a child. Most recently, I revisited and revamped my budget when I bought a new house. Budgeting should happen at every new stage in your life or whenever your expenses or income change. Many people think budgeting is a time-consuming and tedious process, but once you sit down and actually do it, your foundation is set to build upon for later iterations. Here are some easy steps to help you get started. This will be a centralized place that you will log all of your expense types, add up the numbers, and make any notes. Ask yourself what's the most accessible way for you to check in on your budget on a regular basis. For me, I go old school with a paper and pen. I have a designated notebook that I use just for budgeting, but it could just as easily be a budgeting software, an app on your phone, a binder, or a spreadsheet on your computer. Just make sure it's something you're comfortable navigating so you don't have another excuse to ignore it. Next, determine what your different categories of spending are. This is for you to customize based on your habits and needs. A sample list of categories might be your rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities like electricity, any cell phone or internet bills, healthcare costs like premiums and medications, transportation needs like car insurance, gas, or a Metro card, and entertainment like streaming subscriptions. You get the idea. It's also important to try to include an allotted amount of savings in your budget if you're able to do so. From there, it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and dive into your expenses. Log each one by name, dollar amount, and which category it falls under. Place a check mark next to your needs and then re-examine your list afterwards. For the items that don't have a check mark, are you able to cut back on those costs? How much money would you save by doing so that can instead be put towards your financial goals? For me, when I first created a budget, I realized I was spending over $1,000 every 6 months on manicures. Once I saw that number, I decided to completely cut manicures out of my budget and free up income to put towards my savings instead. Once you reviewed your expenses, add up how much each category's budget is per month. You now have a blueprint for your spending guardrails. This budget review should be repeated at least once a quarter minimum. Now it's time to set yourself up for success by making sure all of your accounts are in order and in communication with each other. What this means is you've made it easy to transfer money between your accounts, from your checking to your savings or business account. Go into your accounts and see if your bank info is readily available and saved. Can you set up automatic payments that you can track in your financial log? Can you set up some type of daily alert that tells you your balance? Make sure you get into every nook and cranny of your financial records. By being in tune with your money across the board, you'll have a system of accountability that will ensure easy follow-up. Budgeting might seem like a daunting task, but once you sit down and start, you'll see facing the reality of your finances is much better than letting your worst fears run wild. It won't give you the bank account balance you want overnight, but it's the first step to getting more control over your money and creating a foundational practice that will eventually help you plan for the future. And that alone can be priceless. I'm Tonya Rapley, and thank you very much for watching.